this topic. You might have seen it before. Hopefully, is the audio on? Yeah, okay. Just making sure the audio's working. So you might have seen this topic before, like how to get ahead of 99% of people, how long does it take, and all that kind of thing. I've seen a lot of content online about this. Obviously, it's always fascinated me. I've always trying to been, I've been sort of trying to improve myself for like 20 years now, trying to get better results, all that kind of thing. And I've got to admit, everything's got a lot easier over the last few years for me personally. Now, you might say, well, yes, of course, as you get better and mature and over the years, you just get better and better at it. Very true, right? But you can kind of shortcut some of this just by listening to others and learning from others that have actually been there and done it. And I learned from my coach, of course. I had business coaching from Scott for like 3 years. And the stuff he taught me absolutely transformed how I approach getting results, and if you've seen my website or my journal, my story, I'll give a little example there. That basically I went for working. I used to be the guy that worked 80 hours, 100 hours a week, absolutely smashing it up and down the country. You know what I mean? The whole like put the hours in. That used to be me. And I went from that to working like 15 hours a week, 20 hours a week, right? Actual work and getting 4 times the results, right? And like I said, there's a lot of people talk about this on the internet, which is great. And I've listened to them. And I don't want to sort of criticize others because most people's success is, say, how to get success on YouTube or something like that. And I think you should get your success from whatever. If it is content creation, fine. But me, I'm not really a content creator. This is a hobby for me. I got my success in the real world, in business, achieving your goals, that kind of thing, right? So whilst you do see this all over the place, I'm just going to explain some of the things that I did that moved the needle, really made the shift for me, right? And this is basically my experience in the real world way before I've been doing any content creation or anything like that. Like I said, this is just a hobby for me. Yeah, the pictures, the Star Wars, yeah, they're well cool. They're from I know we're segueing a bit, but these are from the author. He's called the Urban Giant, Mark Turley. So I know the guy and I've got a few of them. They're really good. Go on his website, have a look. He's also on Instagram. If you go to my Instagram, we follow each other, so you'll be able to find him there. Anyway, back to the big needle movers, the things that really made the difference for me. Like I said, the things that I learned from Scott. So I went from, say, working 100 hours a week, absolutely smashing it up and down the country, driving everywhere, getting banned on the driving license, all that, just like 100 miles an hour, working long hours, to now working like 15 hours a week. So the big thing in the early days of starting my business, yes, I put a shift in. I worked round the clock every single hour. And that will get you so far, right? You can actually get a lot done by just working your absolute bollocks off, right? But it's limited, right? There is only so much that you can do. It kind of limits at a point where there's only so much one person can do. So no matter how hard you work, you can't scale yourself. It's not scalable. This is why I always say that selling your time for money, which is what I was doing, like working hourly rates and things like this, is great. But it's kind of non-scalable. You need to be moving to some kind of, like, you need to understand leverage and things like this. So leverage is like, how can I scale myself beyond my time? And this is why, whether you're selling your time for money or trying to work 100 hours a week or whatever you're trying to do, there's a limit to it. It's not scalable, right? So you need up to a point you will get so far. And it's like in business models, if you look at like how you're going to leverage and get more, you can sell your time for money. You can sell your time for money on a more of a premium service to get a bit better money. You can then start selling other, like hire a team, start selling other people's time for money to get a little bit more money. But eventually you need to move into some kind of scalable product or something that you can market, right? And so one of the fundamental shifts that I had to first do when I was doing this with Scott was looking at how unproductive my 100 hours a week were, right? And it was almost like a lifestyle shift. Instead of like trying to do everything, and I was a micromanager, I wouldn't let control of the little things, like in your business, and I was trying to do every little email and things like this. You need to move from that kind of person to starting to be more results focused. And you're looking at it, it's a bit like objectives, key results. You're just looking at it and going, okay, what's going to matter here? If I've got 100 things to do on my list, which are the few things, what are the top things that are really going to move the needle, and start working there? And it does mean saying no to a lot of stuff, right? So the fundamental shifts are lifestyle, obviously developing success habits, which, we can talk about. There's a lot of them. And then the big one for me was like developing mental models, like what mental models do I need that I can carry through life that are going to make me successful, like time and time again. These are like reusable skills that you can just, they're always going to serve you no matter what you do. And I did a great video. I don't know if it's in the description, if it's linked, but just look on my channel in videos. It's not a live stream, it's a video. It was called The 7 Mental Models for Success. I mean, the things that I explain in there, if you just get them down as a skill, they'll be with you for life and you can reuse them. It's things like communication skills, how to negotiate in sales, and then understanding things like sales marketing, digital marketing, all that kind of thing. And then, fundamental business really, like how to set goals and achieve them no matter what. So like about me, I have one way to set all my goals, no matter whether they're fitness goals, family goals, lifestyle goals, business goals, whatever, right? I've got one way of setting a goal and achieving it, and it does kind of work. So that's what I mean about mental models, right? You want to be developing mental models that are going to work for you. And then the next thing is, you need to be really, whatever you want, you need to be passionate about it and commit to it. And if you're passionate about it, you can push through the hard times because you can develop a kind of grit and determination. And if you think about like willpower or motivation isn't really a thing, right? What you've got to do is you've got to want something and be really super passionate about it. If you're not passionate, you're going to give up because you'll just get fed up with it. So look where your interests are. Where are your interests? What you're interested in. Get passionate. And then that's how you develop a discipline. And if you think about discipline, really, everyone talks about discipline. I am pretty disciplined myself where I need to be, only where I need to be. I'm disciplined about achieving my goals. And discipline, really, it's kind of just a form of self-respect. It's like, I am disciplined enough to want that result that I'm just going to start working towards it. And you're not breaking your back. Like I say, you don't have to work 100 hours a week. I work, like, I've had 2 hard days this week, right? Monday and Tuesday. So give you an example, right? Monday, not each day I'd normally focus on what are the top 3 things that I need to do today, and I'll work in focus blocks of time. I'm going to talk about that next. You might have seen it. But Monday, I had a tender to write. This is like, when you go for a public tender, one of these big projects, and some of them will take us a week or 2 to fill out all the documents because it's a shitload of questions. You've got to get a load of certificates and, answer all the commercial questions, price it all up, really technical questions. And it can take you a week or 2 if you've ever done one of these. I mean, they can take you a month if you've never done one. But we've done a few now, and there's a lot of repetition in the same. I did a full tender on Monday, so that I kind of sacrificed. I said, right, I'm just going to do all my 3 focus blocks of time on that tender, and I'm going to nail that bit, and that bit. Gary, who obviously, like my business partner, he does the commercial pricing and just that kind of thing, but I do all the technical questions. and I absolutely hammered it what would take me 2 weeks. So I had a hard Monday. Tuesday, I had to do a client project, of course. I did actually start it on the Monday. Did all that work, like, you know, we got a purchase order, I had to configure a server, software server, all that. Did it all on Tuesday. Tested it Tuesday night, and then that was done. So that is pretty much done. Honestly, pretty much done, like maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a month's worth of work there now in them 2 days. So you don't have to work your bollocks off, you know what I mean? I've not really worked today, just did a couple of meetings. Tomorrow I'm not really going to work, I've got a couple of meetings. Friday I probably won't work at all. And I've got more results now than when I used to work 100 hours a week. You know what I mean? Why is that? Well, because I'm using them systems and I've developed my system to achieve results. So this is what you have to do. You have to get them mental models down. You know, go and have a look, set my video, the 7 mental models for success. You may choose different mental models, but those things, if you get them down, they're going to be with you for life. And no matter what business or what idea you go into, you're going to be able to apply them. They are reusable skills, basically. So that's what I do. Now, everything I learn with my coach in terms of getting results, right? I was with him for about 3 years, Scott, and towards the end of it, the results I was getting, like I say, I was working a quarter of the time, but getting 4 times in terms of like turnover, output results were like quadrupling, right? And I was getting so far ahead in terms of, now, what does it mean to get ahead of everyone else? I don't think it's about earning money. I think it's about lifestyle design. It's about how do you want to live? Like I was the guy that was working 100 hours a week. I wasn't really getting the results that I wanted. I didn't want that life, right? So I would, no matter how much money I could earn, I was fucking miserable. So I'd be like, right, do I really want to live like that? No, me getting ahead is me doing what I want, which is living the day that I want. So, you know, average day is really good. Wake up in the morning, you know, I might train, I'm outside journaling, reading for like an hour or something like this. And then I just work 3 hours, like 3 focused hours. Sometimes they're a bit longer, but I work 3 focused blocks of time on the top 3 things that I need to do that day. And that's pretty much all I do, right? Now, to get ahead of everyone, you want to be able to live like that, achieve everything you need. It isn't about getting shitloads of money. It's about getting, you only need the amount of money to service the life that you want, right? So if you want to do a bit of travel and this, that, and the other, yeah, you need some money, but you don't need absolute shitloads of it, right? And you know, you might want a nice-ish car, be able to travel when you want, be able to live whenever you, be able to train whenever you want, not answer the phone to clients, all the rest of it, right? And another thing is, I'm not running around answering every email and you know, singing to someone else's tune. That is getting ahead. So they are the fundamental things that you need to do. So in terms of my system for getting results, you might have seen it. It is based on, probably got a picture of it here, the identity evolution cycle, right? Sounds great, doesn't it? Right? You're going to have to go on the website and get this. But basically, there are 3 parts to it. At the top, you've got your identity, right? So this is like, it's like who you see yourself to be, your highest level. So you want to, you want to be very, very ambitious. It's like your biggest goal, right? I'm going to be this, you know, for me, I'm a software company founder, right? So you might say I'm going to be a tech founder or whatever, right? Stick that on the horizon. That's your identity, right? Next, you've got your goals, which are in the middle. So this is where you're going to start. You're going to set some goals that are achievable, and they're going to be quite ambitious, and they're going to be results focused, right? So the things that you need to, so how do you achieve a goal? Well, you got an ultimate result, right? And underneath it, you might have 5 or 6 things that you need to do to achieve that goal, right? And all of them things are results focused. So it's not like I've got to write this, I've got to do that. It's like I need this, this amount of traffic, this amount of clients. That, you know what I mean? Things that you can measure results, right? And then underneath, this is where you work towards it every day. So when we work towards it, obviously I'm journaling and I'm setting my 3 things every day and that kind of thing. But when we work towards our goals, which is, every goal is achieved in incremental steps. You know what I mean? It's not, you're not trying to do it all in one day, right? You're trying to do it over a longer period of time, 6 months, 12 months if you need to, longer obviously. So your identity may last 10 years. You might be in that kind of identity, that vision for 10 years. And then you've got a set of goals that might be 6 or 12 months long, and then you're going to work towards them every day. And if you just wake up each morning and say, what are the 3 things that are going to move me closer towards my goals today, and just do 3 things, each one in a focus block of time, right? When you work in focus blocks, that could be like, I do an hour, but a lot of people say 90-minute blocks, there's a name for it. I wrote it down earlier. There's a kind of a term for it. Not that it matters, but there is it doesn't matter. There's a term for it basically. But essentially, your focus block of time should be no longer than 90 minutes, because by that time, your attention span's going to switch off. So what actually happens, right, before you start that block of time, you need to work on your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the one that calms you down, right? If you think sympathetic is going to like raise your heartbeat, and your parasympathetic is going to lower it. So this is why in the morning I always journal and read. That calms me right down. I'm going to set my goals. Battery's going. And then what I'm going to do from that moment, I'm going to hit my first, I'm going to hit the hardest block of time. I'll do that. By the end of that, your heart rate is starting to increase and this kind of thing. You then, between your next block, you need another calming moment. So this is where you stop work completely, walk around, go make a cup of tea or something. And then what would be really good if you could have sort of 10, 20 minutes, just to try and be mindful, just be in the moment, right? And just relax, do nothing, empty your brain, maybe a little meditation, something like that, because you want to work on your parasympathetic nervous system to bring your state back down, you know what I mean? And then hit your next one, do another hour or whatever, right? And then when you finish that, again, chill, drink, sit in the garden, little meditation, little bit of reading, just calm yourself down again, and then go for your third one. You can actually get away with just doing 2 of these a day. And if you work like that, where you're super focused, you'll actually work far less hours and you'll achieve far more, right? If you think about the average working day, I used to work in an office in the city, and 250 people in an office. This company had 100,000 staff around the world. It was a big consultancy. Fucking offices everywhere, full of like 200, 250 people. You go in one of these offices, you can count the good ones on one hand, right? The rest of them were just what you call make weights. They were just charged out at a fee, and in the company money, just pulling a wage basically. And they were all working 8, 10 hours a day. And I've got to be honest, you'd be lucky if you got an hour or 2 out of each person of actual work. The rest was just dicking around. So why don't you just work 2 hours? You know what I mean? That's what I say. I would rather just say I'm going to do 2 hours or 3 hours and just do them in focus blocks. And then the rest of it, just chill out, you know what I mean? And what that will mean is you're going to be doing what I say about Tim Ferriss, like the low information diet. Tim Ferriss, best thing he's ever said. Low information diet. Oh, fucking hell, Sim. Stop messaging me. Sim's messaging me. Well, I'm trying to do this live. I can't. Right, so the low information diet is about like only focusing on things that are results focused. So he says things like batch emails, so like ignore emails till 1 p.m. What a great thing. And then, because the problem with emails is you're gonna, said this before, if you open your emails in the morning when you get into work, it zaps 20 minutes out of every hour and you end up context switching. You can't actually get into deep work. So if you do these focus blocks of time, it does actually mean that you'll end up ignoring some of the small stuff, but overall you'll be getting better results because you're focusing on the things that count. Yeah, you might do a bit of admin later on once you've done your focus blocks, but you're not going to let them dominate your day. Your day should be dominated by, especially in the morning, the things that are going to move you closer, the needle movers, the things that are going to move you closer, right? And once you've done that, you can finish your day early, work less hours, and then it doesn't matter. You just go to gym and train and read and chill out and go and spend some time with family or whatever, right? So this was it for me. I never used to do that, and I used to be like a headless chicken. And because I was trying to do all the small stuff, I was trying to answer every email, dot every I, cross every T, and I was like, right, okay. I mean, I am a very detailed person, but do we have to work like that? No. Occasionally, like I did on Monday, you can do a mad long day. It's worth it, but it's not sustainable. Results happen. You will get more rather than trying to work 100 hours a week. You will get more doing 1 hour a day of focused time than working like that over consistently. How long does it take to get results? Honestly, well, depends on how big your goals are. But if you had a goal to say set up a new business, like an e-commerce business, like I've just done, right? It took 3 months to get it up and running properly, and I'd say now we're about 5 months in, and we're starting to make a profit. So within 6 months, which would be another month from now, I can comfortably say that that goal is started to be reached. It is a long-term goal because obviously year 1, year 2, year 3, you want to grow these things. But because I work like this now, that would have probably took me fucking years. I mean, when I did my first business, it took 10 years, because that was how I used to work. But now, if you were saying having a project like that, I would say, I always say this in the journal, like, the reason why they last 6 months is because that's a good time. Big goals last longer, but what I would say, let's say you're going to start some new habits today. How long does it take? You're going to apply some discipline, start working results focused each day, and you're going to do it consistently. I would say after the first week, if you just start now, this is what I'd say. After 1 week, you will know whether you can stick it out or not. Like you know whether it's complete pain or not, right? Because there is a bit of discipline to it. So after 1 week, you'll notice that. After 3 months, I would say you should have the habits down. Like if you've been doing it consistently, after 3 months, you'll have built the habit, but may have not. You might see some signs of results, but I'm not saying you will get proper results by then. After 6 months is when you first see the signs of results. And what I would say, to get ahead of people, there is no quick fix. Definitely not. There's no like shortcut or anything like that. It is just building success habits. And the best way to build success habits to get ahead is consistently over time. So it's a lifestyle thing. Once you start, you don't want to stop, because if you stop, somebody else will just overtake you. I think if you're not kind of growing in a direction, you're effectively shrinking. So you're going backwards. It's the same, like, you can't, with anything, you can't train in the gym and then just go stop. You've got to maintain it, haven't you? Because if you just stop, you're going to go backwards. So it takes a while, but I think within 6 months, if you did this, build some, look at the mental models that you need, right? The things that are, matter, the like kind of first principle stuff. I also did another video. I think it was like how to think like Elon Musk, like Elon Musk, never ever can. These guys, they think from first principles. You know what I mean? They're really like they're thinking at a very basic level, and everything that they think about can be reapplied to, you know what I mean? The basic principles, things like what I learned from Scott, like how to communicate and negotiate. You can apply it to anything, like business, family, romantic relationships. It's just really good. Things like that, like how to market and sell anything, basically. That's just a universal skill, how to get an audience. So yeah, I would develop the mental models, success habits. It's a fundamental lifestyle change, and understanding that it's going to take quite a while. Like I say, after a week, you'll know the kind of pain level, and you just make a decision, right? I've done a week, I'm just going to carry on, get to 3 months consistently. Then you've built the habits, like it's ingrained in you then, and then you just carry on, and then 6 months you'll get your first sign of results. 12 months you get even more. I mean, if you've ever, it doesn't matter what you look like I did 3 years of coaching with Scott. After the first year I was amazed. After the second year I was like, I'd landed this like massive contract, and I was like, it just changed my life. And then after year 3 it was like, yeah, this is I think between year 2 is when I got massive results, like financially and just lifestyle. And then I would say year 3 is when I wasn't chasing the same things, like I wasn't going for financial or anything like that. It was more about getting the productivity down and making it, oh, can I do it again? Should I want to? You know what I mean? It's like applying it across the board, then like starting new businesses. So 3 years. Same with like if you've ever tried to lose a lot of weight, like and get in shape. Similar again, I always like using a fitness example because it's a long-term goal. People, you can't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger in 3 months. No one can. Most people never look like him. But if you wanted to get in absolute shape of your life, it takes you years, not 1 year, but years. Because every year gets better, you build a little bit more lean mass, and the more lean mass you build, the easier it is to stay lean, like burn fat. So if you're like fat or skinny fat, and you want to like get jacked, it's going to take 3 years. 1 year you can look great. Even 6 months, like you could shed 25 kilos in 6 months if you're pretty disciplined and you're prepared to be aggressive with it. But you're not going to build a lot of muscle. That takes a long time. Same in business, you know what I mean? You can get some initial results in 6 months, but you're not going to, most businesses take 10 years. But you want to get ahead, you don't want to be doing it like I was, where I was working my fucking bollocks off, 100 hours a week. You want to be working fucking short weeks and results focused, then you can have a lifestyle with it too. It's far better, do a bit of travel and all the rest of it. So I might actually do a recording of this because I've just winged it, I just thought I'd do a live on it. And it is based on experience, you know what I mean? It's but I might record it and do it properly, so there is a proper blueprint. If you want to know, there is a link down to my journal website below, Goal Achievement Hub. Go on there, and the downloads for the identity evolution cycle and the life harmony model are kind of the diagrams to show you the 3 main parts of it. So yeah, again, what are the 3 parts? Create your identity, right? This is important because it's what you're aiming at, right? It's your big goal, biggest affirmation. It's like your vision, your life vision. Create that, right? Define it, who you are. Then you're going to create some, you're going to think, right, how am I going to get to it? What do I need to achieve? These are your goals. and they're going to be results focused. And then lastly, you're going to start working towards them each day, just doing 3 small things in 1 hour blocks. You can do 90-minute blocks, but 1 hour is enough for me. And don't forget, between each one, at the start of it, you want a good hour or whatever, half an hour, a good 40 minutes, where you're going to do your journaling and your reading to lower, your state, so you're ready, you're nice and calm. Then you're going to do your first one, your first block of work. And then at the end of it, you need a little break. You're going to have a little relax, make yourself a coffee or whatever, and then have a little mini meditation to bring your state back down to normal. And then you're going to go again, and then you're going to have another little break where you're not looking at screens, no phones, and then you're going to do your last one, and then you're done. Right? After that, the day's yours, and you'll achieve. If you keep doing that, you don't need to. I mean, I also do it at weekends, but it's very relaxed at the weekends. It's not actual, not at the same pace. But if you just do that even 4 days a week, consistently, you'd be amazed over 6 months. And over 6 months of doing that, building them success habits, is how you get ahead. And 99% of people, because most people can't be asked doing that. Most people cannot be asked working results focused. Everyone, if you think, most people are looking for excuses to avoid doing the things that they could, and answering emails and making cups of tea and scrolling in and out on the mouse or whatever, looking busy. Don't be that. I used to be that. You can get so far, but you will not get as far as just applying, building some success habits, mental models, and just being really disciplined about what you work on, and only working on things that are going to give you a result. All right. Hope that was useful. Thank you for listening. And I don't think there's any comments there, is there? You like the pictures on the wall? Good day, sir. Yeah. Long Island, New York. Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. Right. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe. Go and watch some of my other videos. Like I say, watch the one, go and look in my videos, 7 mental models for success. They're the sort of things that I say you should learn, that you can reapply to everything in life. And if you want to know how, I've done a few videos on my own journey, if you like. I did one on how I created the software business, which is my first business. Then I did another one on sort of leveraging success between the two, like how to leverage something that you've already got to get more success. And then just recently, I did it when I was out in Canada, on Vancouver Island, how I created the e-commerce business and how quick that was, because I've developed all this stuff I'm telling you now. It was like literally within 3 months up and running. I mean, to be fair, I sold some journals day one, because people were waiting for them the minute they turned up at my house. But the e-commerce side, getting the whole shopping cart, e-commerce on the website, the Amazon, all that, getting Amazon to work, and things I'd never done before. But I just applied the mental models and the success habits that I'd learned over them years, and it was up and running in no time. Go and have a look at that as well. All right. Thank you for listening again. And see you all next time.